Hey y'all. I thought on the way to Home Depot I would make this little video about my relationship with my older niece. My niece and I were very, very close. In fact, my sister used to be a bit jealous of our relationship. Now, unfortunately, when my niece was very young, she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Y'all know what a horrible, horrible disease that is. Unimaginable. Hearing things, hallucinations, paranoia, extreme depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. Not the occasional one, but a lot. Now, this disease is pretty manageable if you will see a doctor, you will take the prescribed medication, and you will be consistent with your care. Diligent with taking your medication. Now, I've told y'all before that there's a thing about stopping your medication, whether it's for depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, whatever that is. You have this state of euphoria where you feel like you could do anything. You're very manic. You don't sleep. But very quickly you crash. Now, you mix in being a drug addict with that, smoking a lot of pot, and not a mild strain, but a very strong one. Taking amphetamines, uppers, downers, heroin, cocaine. It's one of the saddest things I know. Her parents, my sister and my brother-in-law, tried so hard to help her. They got her out of trouble. They rescued her time and time again. But to hear her tell it, they used and abused her. They never helped her. They were mean to her. They were cruel to her. They put her in a mental hospital. Those things were not true, y'all. My niece broke my sister's heart. Broke her heart. My sister had been a drug addict herself up until sometime when she was in her 30s. And then she finally got clean. My niece married a very, very good man. He was from Canada. He was so good to her. He tried and he tried and he tried to help her, to support her, to love her. Now, when you have somebody that takes their medication and they're doing well, you can have a normal life together. But when you're married to somebody who doesn't do that, who constantly goes off their meds, takes drugs, engages in very risky behavior such as street drugs, having hallucinations and paranoia, you can only do that for so long. My niece did some terrible things to him, called his jobs and tried to get him fired, spread lies about him on social media. She was vicious to him and almost destroyed him. Not just employment-wise, but emotionally and mentally and even physically. There were times when he was afraid of her. When you see somebody that resembles a character on a horror movie, snarling and threatening you, I'm gonna stab you when you're asleep. I mean, y'all, that's unbearable. So finally, he had to leave her. Well, she messed around and messed around and messed around. She finally ended up in jail. And her husband used to call me all the time. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't stand the thoughts of her being in jail. Now, you know I have practiced tough love with my own son. My baby boy that I love with all my heart. But I saw my mother, the way she always got my little brother, who was also a drug addict and ended up in prison and was eventually murdered. She got him out of trouble all the time. She couldn't when he finally went to prison. They even put a mortgage on their house one time. Now, my dad, he did not want to do it, but I mean, my mother, she was going to do it no matter what. So, witnessing that, I always told myself, I'm never, ever going to be an enabler for my children. That does not work. They don't learn to stand on their own 2 feet. They don't learn to be responsible. Y'all know, it's a whole bunch of stuff. You cannot enable people. I don't care what they do. If they're drug abusers or addicts, or if they're alcoholics, gamblers, you cannot enable them, y'all, because you are not helping them. You're not. And, you know, I knew I was never going to do that. It didn't work for my little brother, for sure. And shade. Here we go. So my advice was for him not to get her out of jail. I told him, I said, she'll have to get clean. She won't have a choice. They will try to help her, get her on correct meds, and maybe, just maybe, this will be the wake-up call that she needs. I remember one time, y'all, this girl is so smart. I mean, she is very intelligent. She was a paralegal. She made very good money when she worked. She worked a lot of temp jobs because she just could not keep a job. She would not stay on her meds. She chose to do drugs. People like that cannot keep jobs. So she worked for temp agencies a lot. And she was in demand because she was awesome. She had just gotten this new job. And she got to the office. And she was in the reception area. And she lost it. By the time the receptionist could call 911 and some men in the office could try to come and help, she had removed all her clothes. It's so heartbreaking. And I guess I don't understand the lure of doing drugs, of being an addict. I try to understand, but unless you've experienced it yourself, you can't really understand it. I thought that would be the wake-up call. There were many times that things happened that we thought, this is it. She's going to stop doing this behavior. She's going to take her meds and have a wonderful life because she is so freaking intelligent. Why is it that people like my niece, like my son, are so intelligent and could accomplish so much, have these diseases and not be able to kick it, have wonderful, productive lives, happy lives? I don't know. But while she was in jail, her husband had finally decided he couldn't take it anymore. He was moving with a new job, so he had to give up the house where they lived. I, I would not say that my niece was a hoarder. Let's just say she was a big collector. She loved stuff. She loved foo-foo stuff. She loved vintage stuff. Now, she and I had always had kind of this little dream that we would go together sometime and we would have a little store. And it would be an awesome little store. We would have cute little furniture, shabby chic, vintage. It would be decorated so cute. The front window would be so inviting. And we dreamed about that, y'all. So when her husband was having to give up the house, she had 2 or 3 rooms and the garage full of this kind of stuff. He didn't know what to do with it. And her car. So, I thought, this has got to be the turning point for her, being in jail. Maybe when she gets out, I had a really good job at the time. I was managing Camino Colony. And I thought, this will be the opportunity to start that dream that we'd had for so long. So I told Todd, I said, can you put all of her stuff in a U-Haul, pull her car, and bring it out here? We'll put it in storage. I can pay the storage, no problem. We can park the car right here where I live. And when she gets out, I will do my best to get her interested in this and to give her a reason to not just be clean, but to stay clean. Well, when my niece heard what he was going to do, she went ballistic. She accused me of wanting to steal her stuff, steal her car. I had a nice pickup truck, y'all. I did not need her car. I did not want all her stuff. I loved her so much. And all I wanted to do was to help her, to give her a reason to have a good, happy, productive life. She has blamed me for having to stay in jail, for wanting to steal her things, to rob her, and she has not spoken to me since. That breaks my heart, y'all. I miss her. We used to have so much fun, so many laughs together. But what are you going to do? Her paranoia, her schizophrenia, her drug abuse. She moved back home. when she got out of jail. Now, her older brother is very successful. And I know that he has been and will always try to help her. There's not really a lot you can do unless you're just going to enable her. And I'm afraid that's what he's doing. And I pray that it will not destroy his marriage, his family, because so often that is what happens. One person feels responsible for a parent or a sibling or whatever, and it can ruin their other relationships, especially a marriage. It's so sad, y'all. I just miss her. I miss my other niece, and I miss my nephew. And someday I am going to make it out there to see them. Now, it's almost on the other side of the world, so I will not be driving out there for sure. I will take a Southwest airline. I'm not crazy about flying, y'all. I can't remember the last time I flew anywhere, but I'm not a fan. It used to not bother me. I don't know why it bothers me now. But would I do it? Yes. But I'm going to have to figure out, I think that because of her size, little dogs and companion animals, for sure service animals, can fly with you in the cabin if you have a carrier that will fit under the seat. Now, I had checked on this before for Hazel. At the time, I think it was $250 extra. Okay. I would never, ever let an animal of mine fly in a cargo hold. Y'all have heard stories about that. I mean, never ever would I do that. People buy animals from across the country and have them shipped to them via airplane. And there's been horrible stories in the news, y'all, of these animals dying. No way. No way. Y'all know I could not do that to Miss Hazel. I mean, if I couldn't get her on a plane with me, I'd take a train. I don't think I'd take a Greyhound bus, y'all. My last experience with that was so gross. Or I would drive. I'd just have to make it, it'd probably take me a month to drive there, but I could stop and see some of y'all on the way. But that is, I don't have a bucket list, y'all. I don't have, I'm too old to have a bucket list. And I'm not that kind of person anyway. There's not that many things that I have a strong enough desire to do with the rest of my life, except to be some kind of a good person who's able to bless others. People, animals, whatever. But if I had a bucket list, this would be at the top. I need to see them. I do. They're all the family I have left, except for my two boys. And I can't even tell you the last time I saw them. I don't remember. When my sister died, I didn't go back there for the funeral. My sister knew me and she understood me. She knew that when she croaked, if it was before me, I wasn't showing up at her funeral. I tried to go see her when she was alive. Anyway, y'all, this is running long. Um, this weighs on my heart a lot. And I'm almost positive it would not matter if I showed up there and got on my knees. My niece would not forgive her perceived perception of what she thinks that I tried to do to her. She's gotten things just ingrained in her. She has convinced herself that what she thinks is the absolute truth. So, for those of y'all who have experienced things like this, my heart goes out to you because I know exactly how it is. All we can do is pray for them. I love y'all. I'm going into Home Depot. I'm going to get what I need. I'm coming back out because then I have to go to Walmart. Oh, I don't want to do that, but I have to. Talk to y'all later.